Over the weekend, millions of Americans across the country marched against President Trump's agenda. Tonight, we'll meet some of the vulnerable people depending on those demonstrators to be their voice, the so-called dreamers, young undocumented immigrants who fear that their lives will be upended if the president follows through with some of his campaign promises. Here again is my Nightline co-anchor, Juju Chang.
We just met up with this group from New Jersey. They are the DACA kids whose futures are literally hanging in the balance of the next Trump executive order.
Hanging in the balance because under a Trump administration, this sliver of young professionals runs the risk of losing their temporary deportation relief, granted under President Obama, under an executive order called DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals.
Being here right now is symbolic for me fighting back to what I think is unjust.
In the crowd stood Sarah Mora.
I'm a DACA holder, so that's an immigration policy that right now is helping a lot of college students.
What are the dangers of having it removed?
Pretty much our life would crumble because everything that we have through DACA is what's holding us together, license, work authorization. So it would mean for a lot of people going back to their country or fighting back, but that's what we're doing right now.
A college student who says she too came to the U.S. when she was just 4 years old.
How did you come to this country?
So we came with a visa, you know, airport and everything, and a plane.
Tourist visa? Yeah. So your whole family's undocumented?
Right.
Originally from Costa Rica, her father works as a truck driver. Her mother cleans houses for a living. Mora, the oldest of three, now hopes to one day be a diplomat.
It's putting our whole lives into perspective. It's like, all right, we're in this limbo where we're not sure what's going to happen in the next month.
It's an existential crisis for you.
Right.
A crisis after a campaign season where undocumented immigrants were often the target of Trump's scorn.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
We have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
We're building the wall, believe me. Believe me, we're building the wall.
At one point, telling Meet the Press,
They have to go.
What if they have no place to go?
We will work with them. They have to go.
Today, Press Secretary Sean Spicer addressing the looming issue.
First and foremost, the president's been very, very clear that we need to direct agencies to focus on those who are in this country illegally and have a record a criminal record or pose a threat to the American people.
I'm not afraid of Trump or like anything that he can do. I'm afraid of the people not standing up to stop him.
Lee Adorno, a college senior, says losing his DACA rights means he'd lose the only legal way he's able to help his family make ends meet.
Without it, it kind of puts me in a situation where I have to go back to working under the table, doing something that's illegal.
A similar situation to that of his father, who's one of 11.4 million undocumented workers currently in the country.
He doesn't get benefits. He has to work less than minimum wage, and he can't take days off because if he does, like,
They'll fire him.
They'll fire him. That's inhumane.
Yeah.
That goes against everything that the country stands for.
Lee telling us he's sharing his story not for pity, but because he's seeking justice, dignity, and respect.
What do you dream about? The future.
Oh boy, I don't even know. Like I don't even want to let myself like get into that zone because I feel like for what, you know? Like there's a real chance that none of that might happen.
Yet throughout the day, signs of solidarity.
You're the greatest part of America is right here in this group. We're all immigrants, and you're the most recent immigrants, and you need to stay here and make our country as great as it is.
There's a real convergence of people kind of colliding in groups with different agendas, but all sort of high-fiving each other along the way and all coming together. Hello.
But the veritable buffet of issues being championed confused some.
I don't think half of these people really know why they're here. Like, all these girls were walking by with, like, climate change. And I was like, okay, cool, we can work together.
I think that the variety of causes make it hard to get organized around a single issue. It wasn't a march to pass the Civil Rights Bill of 1964 or to end the Vietnam War. My greatest hope out of this march is that more women will run for office.
Many marchers say they saw their diversity as a plus.
Have you panned the group here, We're not all the same, we're different. How wonderful. Will the melting pot that America was supposed to be?
I'm down here just to march for, future generations, to fight for all rights, including like LGBT, Muslim rights.
So marching today in the parade, what was that like for you?
It was awesome. It's my first time I've ever marched. It was important to me, and it was important to get my children out here to let them know that you have to stand up for what you believe in.
The big challenge is keeping the momentum moving forward. But right now, people are so excited. They loved being together.
One of the organizers of the Women's March, Linda Sassour, says that was exactly her goal.
I think people are finally awake. A lot of communities of color, we've been experiencing oppression and marginalization at the hands of government for a long time, and all of a sudden our white counterparts woke up, and I'm glad they're here.
I stand here before you, unapologetically Muslim American.
Sarsour says she's already personally feeling the new wave of support after being targeted on social media for being a Muslim. Thousands leapt to her defense.
I don't know, some great, amazing people created a hashtag for me called I March with Linda to try to counter the vitriol that is out there.
And to critics who say the march was a one-shot deal, Sarsour says wrong.
The Women's March on Washington has created an infrastructure, whether we like it or not. We have over 400 organizers around the United States of America. We're not going to just drop that because we had one great march. We already made history.
For Nightline, I'm Juju Chang in Washington, D.C.
Our thanks to Juju and our team for that report.